Hey y'all, my name is Morgan Decker and this is my lesson plan demo for Project C. Looking at our drive, I have Decker lesson plan. So the lesson plan is going to be where you see what the assignment actually is and then the standards that are tied on to that. Decker rubric, so that's how I analyze and score the assignment itself. And then I included 2 articles that go along with the assignment. A little bit of background about this assignment. I teach 9th grade literature and composition at Hart County High School, and in that course, one of our units that we focus on deals with argumentative writing. So what I like to do is we read a novel by Sherman Alexie called The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, and we read that together as a class, and we really analyze it. We analyze the themes that are in it, and we really go into deep conversations talking about the content that's found inside. If you don't know, Sherman Alexie, his novel, The Absolute True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, deals with some heavy themes, some heavy content. There's bullying in the novel, there's alcoholism, there's death. So a lot of things that some teenagers do face and, have to go through with their family. Those things are prevalent in that novel, and so we really talk about it and kind of, dig around and see what the students in my class think. So if you click on the Decker lesson plan, it'll pull up and it'll say, as a class, students will read Megan Cox Gordon's Darkness Too Visible and Sherman Alexie's Why the Best Kids Books Are Written in Blood. So each of these articles themselves focus on a particular side of an argument that stems from whether young adults should be able to read what they want in terms of content, or if adults should be there to censor and kind of monitor what they read. So with the first article, Megan Cox Gordon, Darkness Too Visible, we'll see this, and this is the article Darkness Too Visible that is included in my Google Drive folder. And Gordon here, she just really kind of pulls in facts and information from young adult literature that you can find now, and about all of the hardships and kind of the rough content that some of these novels include. And her main purpose is to, try to persuade adults in these young adults' lives to be aware and really monitor and censor what they're letting these children read. More or less, she doesn't think that young adults are capable of taking in this information, processing it, and then, effectively using the information that's given. She just doesn't think that they're ready for that. The other article that the assignment pulls from is Why the Best Kids Books Are Written in Blood. This article is by Sherman Alexie, who is also the author of the novel that I read in my classroom. And he argues that these novels are what kids need. These are real life problems, real life situations. And, for some kids, this may be, a way that they're able to deal and cope with what they feel. He pulls in, parts of his background that influenced, the writing of The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, and even, how some of his other works are influenced by that. And then even in the article, he talks about the hardships that he's faced and, how he wished that when he was growing up, he would have had access to novels along those lines. So going back to my lesson plan, after reading both articles and the novel, students will determine which side they are on. So do they side more with Megan Cox Gordon in terms of, I really don't know that I should be the one that's left up to deciding what I read. Maybe adults should be more in charge of that. Or do they side with Sherman Alexie and his belief that young adults should be able to read what they connect with? So prior to writing the essay, which would be the main goal that is not included in this assignment, the students would work with 2 others in the classroom to construct a text message conversation between Gordon and Alexie using some sort of online SMS generator. I like to use ClassTools SMS generator just because it's easy to use and it's pretty fast and effective. But now if you have another type of format that you enjoy, then by all means use that. A little bit about the rules, what I like to have my students do. Each member in the group must have a job. This just helps to keep each student in the group accountable. So for instance, there could be a typer that, puts the information into the SMS generator. There could be an organizer. So how are you going to effectively, include the information that you need to make the conversation flow, and then a presenter, because after everybody completes their text message conversation, I do like to have students present it and, really talk about, okay, well, this group found this quote to be important and this group found this quote to be important. So are they both important? And we really just analyze, how effective these quotes are at proving our points. The second rule is that groups must start their text message conversation from the author that they most agree with. So if they side with Gordon and think that adults should censor and monitor what young adults read, then the text message would need to initiate from her. However, if they side with Alexi and his view that young adults should be able to read what they connect with and what they want, then they would need to start the conversation from his point of view. The third, each message must contain a direct quote along with an explanation to explain what that quote means. I do this so that students get familiar with quoting directly from a text, which is what they'll need to do on the EOC, along with explaining that quote, because it's not simply just enough to cite it and pull it, but you really have to know what that quote means in the context of your argument. The fourth thing, at least 3 replies from each author in the conversation. So what I mean by that is that there needs to be at least 3 direct quotes with 3 explanations. So if Sherman starts the conversation, then he would need to have 3 additional bubbles with information from his article to support what his claims are, and vice versa with Gordon in that sense. And then finally, a concluding message from each author. This I let them paraphrase because here I'm really trying to get them to kind of conclude and sum up what they found throughout their study. And then I've also tied in with the goals and the objectives, so cite strong and thorough textual evidence, determine an author's point of view or purpose in a text, and then evaluate the argument and specific claims in a text. I think that those are super important standards and standards that they're going to have to be able to use effectively and show mastery of on the EOC. The next thing that is in my folder is the Decker rubric, and this will be where you see how I grade this text message conversation. So you'll see that there are 5 categories, and each of those 5 are worth 4 points, so a total of 20 points here. And it just kind of breaks it down. So we have basic, so the group has chosen one specific side to start with the argument, and that person initiates the conversation. You'll see that there are 6 replies in the text message, so at least 3 per author, and that kind of goes down within the rubric. Textual evidence and explanation, so each of the 6 replies contains a piece of cited textual evidence and an explanation that is effective in supporting what that claim truly means. And then a conclusion, so this is going to be that summary, so effectively concludes the main points discussed by each author. And then the miscellaneous, this is just kind of where some of the extra stuff comes in. So in my lesson plan pitch, somebody mentioned that it might be helpful to have an outline, so I did put that in there. The text message generator, and then each group member has a specific job. So remember, whether that be the organizer, the typer, or the presenter, somebody in the group needs to be doing something. So I think that is about it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns for me, definitely just let me know. And I hope you guys enjoy this and find some way to use it in your classroom. Bye.